Hello guys! In today's video, I am going to share with you a few summer refreshing, delicious, and very simple recipes that you're going to make on repeat. If you enjoyed today's video, give me a thumbs up and click the subscribe and the bell icon for new hosting and recipe ideas like this.
Say hello.
Let's get started.
Hello.
It's a lovely Saturday morning and me and my girls went grocery shopping. I had a load of groceries to put away and wash some fruits and veggies before getting started. It was getting close to noon and I had to break my fasting with a snack until lunch was ready. A yogurt and fruit bowl is the perfect go-to snack for me. It's healthy and nourishing and it's packed with vitamins and probiotics. I love adding hemp seeds that have healthy omega-3 fats. Sometimes I add flax seeds as well. A yogurt bowl is so vibrant and versatile, you can add any seasonal fruit you have on hand. Drizzle it with the local honey for sweetness and enjoy. I went to Home Goods yesterday and I wanted to share with you some cute finds that I picked up. Let me know in the comments if you enjoy these shopping hauls videos and if you want to see more videos like this. Me and the girls have a tradition where we bake something together every weekend. The weather reached 104 degrees Fahrenheit this week, so baking it's not the most pleasant activity these days. So we're sharing two amazing no-bake desserts that are so refreshing and delicious. Perfect for summer. I have been promising since winter that we'll make popsicles as soon as summer comes. So I guess we're making popsicles today. The second dessert we're making is this delicious raspberry Jello cake. Oh my, this cake is so delightful, so creamy, so delicious. For lunch, we're preparing this very simple 30 minutes lobster pasta and an amazing Tuscan-inspired artichoke salad that comes together in less than 10 minutes. Milan and Aurelia were impatient to get started on the strawberry popsicles, so we went right ahead. I asked them to dice the strawberries, which is optional, but it gave them something to do, more of a sense of involvement. Plus, I'm teaching them some knife skills with these kids-safe knives I purchased from Amazon. We blended roughly 2 to 3 cups of strawberries, then added half a can of condensed milk and blended it together. This mixture is so delicious. Pour it halfway into the silicone molds and add some small chunks of strawberries. Then fill it up with the strawberry puree. Cover it with the lids and freeze until set, a minimum of 4 hours or best overnight. These are super simple to make. They are so versatile and most important, you know exactly what is going into these popsicles. No chemicals, no food dye. Make your homemade popsicles with only 2 ingredients and never buy the ones from the store again. When I went to the grocery store this morning, I knew I was going to make pasta for lunch. I just had to figure out what kind. When I passed by the seafood section, the girls saw this lobster and nicknamed him Sebastian. Well, I guess Sebastian is lunch today. This is a very easy recipe that comes together in 30 minutes. So let's get started. Dice 2 medium shallots and set them aside. In a medium skillet, melt 4 tablespoons of butter and add your shallots. Sauté on medium-low heat until golden. We'll need 2 to 3 garlic cloves and I'm simply going to slice them. Add them to your shallots and cook together for another minute. Meanwhile, dice roughly 2 roasted red bell peppers and sauté them together until softened, roughly 2 to 3 minutes. Then pour 1 cup of cream and let it simmer on low heat while you're working on the lobster. Now make sure you wash your lobster before you begin. Cut the tail in half lengthways, then extract the meat. Next, using your cracking tool, remove the shell and pull the meat out. You may need a tiny fork from time to time to scoop out hard-to-reach pieces of meat. Make sure you remove all the bits of shells and transfer the meat chunks into a clean bowl while you clean your surface. Then slice it into bite-sized pieces. You can use the lobster shell and make a seafood stock or simply discard it. In a separate medium pot, boil water and salt it well. Add your pasta and cook until al dente according to the package instructions. Al dente means firm to the bite, and we'll continue to cook it in the sauce. Speaking of which, now that our sauce has simmered, carefully transfer it into a shallow bowl and blend it until smooth. Transfer it back to your skillet and add your lobster meat. Season with salt and pepper to taste, then I'm also adding half a teaspoon of chili lime and half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes for an extra kick. Transfer 1 cup of that pasta water to bring the sauce together, then use some tongs to transfer your pasta directly into the sauce. Coat it all over, then grate Parmesan cheese and sprinkle with some freshly chopped parsley, and lunch is served. To plate it, use a ladle to create a nest, then carefully transfer it to your plate. For a nice touch, grate more Parmesan cheese on top and sprinkle with a bit more parsley for a pop of color. And this is how you serve a delicious and very simple dish. Next, we're preparing a Tuscan artichoke salad. I love a good summer salad, especially one that I can put together in less than 10 minutes. Begin with slicing a small red onion into thin strips. Place it into a bowl with cold ice water and set it aside. The ice water will help remove some of that onion bitterness. Use 1 cup of cherry tomatoes and slice them in half. For a nicer presentation, slice your cherry tomato in the middle and not lengthwise. I tried this recipe with chopped heirloom tomatoes and Roma tomatoes, but found cherry tomatoes work best as they release less juice. Now let's make the simple vinaigrette that adds a ton of flavor to the salad. You will need 2 to 3 garlic cloves, a 1/4 cup of good quality extra virgin olive oil, 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, half a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and I'm adding all of these ingredients to my electric garlic chopper and just blending them all together. You can simply mince your garlic and add it to a mason jar with the rest of the ingredients and shake it well until combined. Now let's assemble the salad. Into a medium bowl, add 1 can of chickpeas, your sliced cherry tomatoes, 1 can of marinated artichokes that have been thoroughly strained, 1 tablespoon of capers, and the red onions. Drizzle the vinaigrette, then mix together until all the veggies are coated. The marinated artichokes and the capers give this salad a lot of flavor. Now, to avoid a watery salad, strain and rinse the canned chickpeas and then pat them dry before adding them. At this point, the salad is ready to be served. This salad can be stored in a closed container in the fridge for up to 2 days. Transfer to a serving platter and scatter a few basil leaves on top. This Tuscan artichoke tomato salad, it's a very delicious, healthy dish that you can serve at any summer gathering. After lunch, we got started on the raspberry Jello cake. This is such a decadent indulgence, such a light, perfect summer dessert. Now, before we bake the sponge cake, I like to let the Jello take its time to dissolve. In a large mixing bowl, combine 6 ounces of Jello with 2 cups of boiling water and stir until dissolved. Then add 1 cup of cold water and let the Jello sit at room temperature while we're baking the sponge cake. I've got my little helpers here and we're getting started. While the oven is preheating at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, into a large mixing bowl, add 4 large eggs. Beat on high speed for 1 minute. With the mixer on, add half a cup of sugar and continue beating on high speed for 5 minutes. At this point, you can add 1 teaspoon of vanilla, but since this is a raspberry cake, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of raspberry syrup for that boost of flavor. After roughly 5 minutes, your batter should double in volume and be thick and fluffy. Sift in half a cup of flour into the batter, folding carefully with a spatula. When mixing, scrape the bottom of the bowl to ensure you don't have pockets of flour. Fold until no streaks of flour remain. Now do not overmix or you will deflate the batter. Line the bottom of a 13 by 9 glass baking dish with parchment paper. Spread the batter evenly and bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 18 to 20 minutes, or until the top is golden brown and springs back when poked slightly. Remove from the oven and using a flat spatula, cut away from the edges. When your sponge cake is slightly cooled, invert onto a cooling rack and peel back the parchment paper. Rinse and dry the baking dish, then return the cooled cake back to the pan. This is the only layer from this cake that requires baking. Once the Jello that we've set aside earlier is starting to thicken and the sponge cake has cooled completely, whisk together 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream with a 1/3 cup of powdered sugar. Once your whipping cream has a fluffy peak consistency, gradually combine it with the cooled raspberry Jello. You should obtain this thick mousse consistency. Pour the mousse over the cake layer and spread evenly. Top with raspberries, pushing them down slightly into the mousse. Refrigerate for 2 hours or until the mousse is set. Meanwhile, let's start making our Jello topping. In a measuring cup, combine 1 cup of hot boiling water with 6 ounces of raspberry Jello and stir until the gelatin is dissolved. Add half a cup of cold water and let it cool at room temperature while the cake is setting in the fridge. When the mousse layer has set, gradually pour the cooled Jello over the back of a spoon all over your cake and carefully transfer it to your fridge to fully set for at least 2 hours or best overnight, which makes this a perfect make-ahead dessert. Now, never pour warm Jello over the mousse or you'll ruin the mousse layer. When you're ready to serve it, wipe your knife clean in between each slice to ensure a clean cut. This is a delightful summer dessert. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and these summer recipe ideas. If you'd like to see more videos like this, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. See you next time!